everyone. Happy Sunday. I hate to beat a dead horse, but I got to still talk about this box program because it's raised a lot of skepticism on the USDA. It's an absolute farce. And it could have, just to give you an example, we have so many great food service companies in the United States, regional, national companies that provide produce, dairy, meat, fish, full service guys. And that was an easy fix, going state by state, region by region, and handing out the contracts to people that do it. I have another option. Why not give it to either regional retailers or national retailers? Let them go outside their normal supply chain to actually help distressed farmers, dairy ranchers, or, so it wouldn't be like the same old distribution. And then let a consumer go and pick it up, maybe with a card. There were so many, and that's just two off the top of my head. There was just so many better ways to do this than to have a created date, get $46 million, something like that. Not surprisingly, I did receive a lot of calls from some newbies this week, either through brokers or directly, they needed help trying to fill their orders. I appreciate the business, but again, this could have been done much, much better. And I'm sorry that it happened this way. And I don't think, I know Kathy Burns of PMA and Denzel from the United Fresh wrote the USDA a letter. That was great. It's nice to see our industry get involved. But I have to tell you, I don't believe it'll help. I wish it would. But I just think you're going to get some cover your ass BS answers of how this program was implemented. And sorry to say that's just the way I feel. I've been around a long time, and this is why the government doesn't belong in produce. They may know the art of the deal, but they definitely don't know the art of produce. This happened with the tomato suspension agreement, and I'm afraid that's going to dovetail into other items. And this is another program. Produce people, 12 hours a day working is a half a day. People just don't get it. The things that we do, the hoops we jump through to get things done. I've worked in a lot of industries, and there's no people like produce people. So, USDA is, again, just going to cover their ass. And that's all I could say about that, Now I want to talk about this COVID-19 virus, because that's definitely upset our industry, and God knows when this thing is going to end. But it's a few observations for me. Now, I'm 63 years old. I'm considered high risk, but I have to tell you, I live in Texas, so we're opened up. I go to the mall with my wife. We've eaten in restaurants. I went to the beach a couple of weeks ago without a mask. I just think it was ridiculous wearing a mask at the beach. I really believe, right from the start, I always thought it was better to be outside than inside. So I just believe, and this is not politics, this is just common sense, produce common sense. I just believe that, yes, I'm very sorry that 85 or 88,000 people in the United States lost their lives, but 330 million people can't suffer because of it. And I just think poverty is going to kill a lot more people than this virus. The other thing that really gets me going is, if you're a fan of socialism, you're getting a taste of it now. And I just want to give you a few examples. Like in Chicago, you can't get a haircut, but your mayor could go get a hair done. New York City, you had Mayor de Blasio, who's an absolute idiot. I don't think even Democrats like him. He lives in New York City, Manhattan, for all you people that know, and then has his whole entourage go to Brooklyn because he wants to walk in the park. But the rest of the city has the shelter in place. Forget about the Michigan governor, and Wisconsin. They overturned that governor. In New York, that governor. Does it make any sense? You had to admit sick people into nursing homes, and we have thousands of people in nursing homes that died in New York City, and that was a travesty. And last one, the one that really boggles my mind. In many states, they are arresting citizens for not wearing a mask or not social distancing, not social distancing or going outside. But in those same cities, they're releasing prisoners, convicted criminals, felons from jails, and they're because of the COVID-19 virus. So they're arresting people for not wearing masks and putting them in jail, but letting a felon get out of jail. And this, listen, I'm going to die one day. We're all going to die one day. It's not today. And I'm going to live my life. And if I'm going to die from the COVID-19, it's not going to be locked in my house. That's all I have to say about that. What it has to do with produce, we need to get our country open and back, because I'm afraid a lot of you might lose your businesses because of it. That's it. I don't want to get political, and you notice I didn't call out either side, but it just, it just boggles my mind what goes on in this country sometimes. I've been around too long to bother. Let's talk about markets. Let's back that to produce. Red peppers, they got hot. They're short. We have a few in California. Everybody's looking for number ones, because of food. Food service usually eats up the choice, but without food service, a lot of people are eating up the number ones. So everybody's looking that way. The Mexican deal is winding down. Now, there is some new crop Mexican. Some people, like this time of year, get confused. There are like new section red peppers starting in Mexico, usually closer to the border, that go into June. So there are some beautiful Mexican peppers still available, but basically that deal is dwindling down, nowhere near the volume. And the California deal is just getting started. So this market's going to be good for another week or two. And as I said in the past, a lot of these guys, because of that high green pepper market, pick these peppers green. So you're going to, it usually takes 2 to 3 weeks to go from green to red. So this market might have legs for a while. Green peppers we have some green peppers starting at the south, so I think we're going to come off those $30 and $40 price, $35 to $40 price in the terminals, and probably be in the in the 20s. Look at my hair. And that market's coming off. Yellow pepper's still a hot deal, and they'll be hot. And this is usually the yellow pepper scenario. They'll be in the 20s for the week or two when they start, which is now. And they'll be $5 or $6 because then the volume will come on. Green and yellow squash, you have it in the south, you have it out west, and that market is nowhere. It's going to be, $6 on fancy green squash out west, and maybe $8, $8 to $10 on yellow. And demand seems light, so that's where we are. Cukes, I got fooled a little bit last week. I thought that market would trend up a little bit. It got off to $6, $7 for supers and went to like 10, but it kind of got stuck there and then backed off a little bit. My crystal ball says it should work better, but it's all about demand. And we have a holiday this week, so we'll see how the demand picks up. What else? Eggplants. Eggplants is another item. I think we're out of that. I think they're coming off those high prices, those ridiculously high prices, but. I lost myself. Excuse me 1 second. I don't know what happened to my video.